What's going on, guys? Coach Kiki is in my kitchen again. I'm always in my kitchen. If I could cook and bake and meal prep for people for my full-time job, that would be awesome. Like, ideally, I would have like 1 to 2 clients that are like super high-end, where I train them, I do their meals, like I do their nutrition, and then I also like cook all their meals, like their meal prep, and that would be amazing. Anyways, I'm gonna show you some of my recent meals that I've been having, a little bit why I'm having them. They've been delicious. They're super simple. I don't go crazy and do all these wild things with my meals. I just keep things simple, and then I switch it up day to day, depending on what I'm feeling. And honestly, the best thing that I do with that, or that keeps me on track, is the sauces. I have so many sauces. Like, my whole side of my fridge is literally just different low-calorie sauces to, again, switch things up, add different flavors throughout the week, depending on what I'm doing. Because a lot of the times, you'll see in like my meal prep stuff, I don't like season things. I season them like as the day goes on. So like I'll cook up a bunch of chicken or turkey or salmon or whatever, and then when I'm like building my meal for that day, or if I'm like putting my meals in my container for like the gym, I'll just add different seasonings and sauces as I go. So I'm technically eating the same things, but it's different. A couple of my favorite sauces, the goat is the Flavor Gang Sriracha Maple, and another one of my favorites from the Flavor Gang is the Sweet Poppy. And if we're getting like super fancy and I have extra carbs, this is my favorite barbecue sauce, the raspberry chipotle barbecue sauce from Walmart. 2 tablespoons is 9 grams of carbs. So like I only use like less than a tablespoon. So really not that bad. I love this unsweetened ketchup. It's my favorite. And what else? Oh, this one's really good too. My client, Carrie, sent me this. Spicy garlic parm by the Taste Flavor Co. 1 tablespoon has less than 1 carb. That's so good. So, those are just a few. Oh, we can't forget dill pickle mustard. That's also my favorite. And when everyone knows this is my favorite, and I literally got like 8 different bottles sent to me by different people. So we have this stocked up. But lots of good flavor options. We're just going to do whole sauce tour right now. G. Hughes, sugar-free, Japanese barbecue sauce. So this is like the super liquidy kind. I also love anything Melinda's. The black truffle hot sauce is my favorite. That's the most of them. I mean, I could go through all of them if I wanted. G. Hughes, sugar-free, sweet and sour. I don't like the G. Hughes ones a whole heck of a lot, just because of like the added like sucralose that they put in them. This one's really good though. So I don't use those as frequently as ones that don't have sucralose. Like this one from Primal Kitchen, mango jalapeno barbecue sauce. It uses stevia, I think. It doesn't even have any sugar in it. So, I like to look at ingredients. Yes, there's a time and place for like super low carb stuff, but for the most part, I like to have like a good balance of like, I'd rather spend a couple extra carbs on like the sauce if it has better ingredients than like have a bunch of sucralose and shit in my body. So those are my sauces that I use, and that's how I switch things up. So let's go. All right, we're gonna make some Elevate Cream of Rice Waffles for one of my meals. Now I love like actual, like the bowl of Elevate Cream of Rice, but you know, with my training in person, and I'm running around at the gym, I don't have time to, you know, scarf down a big bowl of cream of rice. This is something that I can put in my hand and just like shove down my throat before, like in between clients. So as much as I really just would love to eat a big bowl of cream of rice, this just works for me. So I'm able to meal prep them, and then I can just grab that container, take it to the gym, and then eat my waffles in between my clients. So super simple recipe. Obviously elevate cream of rice, whatever flavor you prefer. Some flaxseed, which is not necessary, but I have higher fat levels right now, so I need to get some fats in, and it has a good amount of fiber. So obviously cream of rice is going to be very quick digesting. The flaxseed with the fiber is going to help keep me full and fueled during, you know, my in-person training sessions. And then a little bit of protein from the Max Effort plant protein and some liquid egg whites. I've used both the plant protein and the whey protein from Max Effort. And honestly, this recipe is super simple, and you can adjust it based off of what your macro goals are. Right now, this is what fits mine. Again, you know, if I'm in prep and I have lower fats, I'll probably take out the flaxseed, or I'll reduce the flaxseed, or maybe I'll keep the flaxseed in and then not have it with nut butter, which would be a sad day. But, you know, again, just very versatile, and you can switch up the flavors depending on what flavor protein powder that you use, what flavor Elevate that you use. You can add in different spices and things like that. So let's make some waffles. First up, we got some water boiling. That's very important, boiling water. All right, so I'm using 50 grams of cream of rice, and I'm gonna add in 7 grams of flaxseed. That's pretty close. Good job, Kiki. Come on. All right, that's close enough. Yep, 57. All right, and then you're gonna add, give that a little bit of a mix. Mix, mix, mix. And then take boiling water. Okay. And then you're going to use the same amount of water as the amount of dry. So like 57. Close enough. And then you're going to mix all that. It's going to be pretty thick. So obviously when you're doing like cream of rice, you do like a 4-to-1 ratio. This is 1-to-1 ratio. This is very hard with one hand. Anyways, mix that together. And then you're gonna let that sit covered for like 5 minutes. All right, so now we're gonna add 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking powder. Honestly, I don't know what you use, baking powder or baking soda. I know the difference for like cookies and shit, but I don't know for waffles. So we're just gonna do 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking powder, 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking soda. Add that in, stir it around, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, you can make this whatever macros you need to. I'm gonna do 1 ounce of liquid egg whites. Ounce of liquid egg whites, and then about 10 grams of protein powder. And then we're gonna mix it. So that's like the consistency that you want for your waffles. We have a waffle maker. We're just gonna spray that with some avocado oil. And we're gonna pour it in there. All right, cream of rice waffle is done. Super easy. Like I said, literally just cream of rice, flaxseed, protein powder, egg whites, baking soda, baking powder. I'm going to top that with some nut butter or dip it in nut butter while I shove it down my throat in between in-person clients. So you can grab this easy to go. You could also put it in the air fryer, or you could eat it cold. So there we go. Elevate cream of rice waffle. Boom. I'm excited. All right. So another meal prep hack, or just hack in general. So I normally do a lot of my meal prep on Sunday. This weekend, I will not be at my house a lot of the time on Sunday, I don't think. So I have some time this afternoon. So I already cooked up some of my ground turkey that I'm going to have, and I just put them in these individual containers. I know that I do, like, one of my meals is, I have been doing is like 3 ounces of turkey. So I pre-portion them out, and then I'm just going to pop them in the freezer. So when I come home, all I have to do, pull it out, put my veggies in there, and we are ready to go. So again, saves time, saves me, stress and anxiety when I get back after a couple days away. All right, so since I did the bulk protein cooking and then individually portioned out the portions that I didn't need for the week, I have some pre-cooked protein already ready to go. So easy freaking meal prep right here. We're just gonna plop that salmon already cooked in there in my purple container, because that's my meal 4 container. And then all I have to do is just add my frozen vegetables. So easy. I do like an ounce of that. And then some green beans. And then all I have to do is, once I cook my, whatever it's called, carb source, all I have to do there is add it to that, and then this is ready to go. Super simple. That's why you just cook it in bulk, pre-portion out what you need, and then it makes your life so much easier, literally. So that's it. All I have to do is add my rice to that, and then I have my pink container for meal 2. Gonna plop in my ground turkey, and then same thing, gonna add in my vegetables. I don't eat a lot of vegetables, but I am like paying attention to my micronutrients. So I'm getting plenty of micronutrients. I'm hitting all of those goals, and these steamable veggies are just the easiest way to go. So that's it. That's all I have to do. And then I have 3 meals ready to go. Just added in some rice, and we are ready to eat some food and build some glutes. Now this portion is not like necessary, but it just helps my brain know that I'm eating all of the food that I'm supposed to. I get these multi-purpose dissolvable labels. I got them on Amazon. These have literally lasted me several years, and I'm still in the same pack. They're like food safety labels or whatever, but I use a half of one and put these on here, and then all I have to do is write Monday meal 4, Monday meal 2, and that's it. Super simple. So this is just one example how I set myself up for the week. I have my chopped spinach that I put with my eggs in the morning, and instead of weighing things out every single morning, I just freeze them, or like, this is already frozen, but I put them in these like individual containers. So then all I have to do in the morning is just dump and go. Again, it doesn't save like a whole lot of time, but it's literally like one less step that I have to take. So if I can take 2 minutes now, less than, to do this, it's gonna just make things so much easier every single morning. So just find certain ways to like make things easier on yourself. Don't overcomplicate things. If you find that you're having trouble like weighing things out, or in a rush, whatever it may be, like make it as simple for you to execute your plan as possible. So again, spinach in these containers ready to go. And again, same thing, making things as easy for me as possible to just grab and go. So portion out your shit. So all you have to do is just grab your little container for the day and be ready to go. Also, this is another fun learning fact. So, not fact, but things we need to pay attention to. These are phenomenal. Maple French toast almonds. Yo. Okay, the macros aren't like too terrible, but 15 carb, 11 fat, and 2 protein per serving. However, the serving, this is half of a serving. Well, this is 20 grams, and the serving size says 8 pieces for 30. So technically this should be like 5 almonds, but this is like like less than a serving, like 4 of these things. So when we're snacking, we need to be fucking aware, because this is going to take up, 120 some fucking calories out of my macros. And am I going to enjoy them? Absolutely, because I have the macros to do so. But like, just be aware that these snack mixes and stuff do add up. If you're just like grabbing, a handful here and there, that is like disappointing, but they're so delicious that I don't care. And again, another easy way to set up your week, because who wants to open up all these 3 things, put it in water every single morning when you can pre-portion things out? So I just use these little containers. I used to use ones that I got like from the dollar store, but these are from like Home Chef that my mom had. So I literally just put in my glutamine, my collagen, my greens into these little containers, so then I can just dump it and go. And then if I'm traveling, these are portable, so I can just throw them in my bag. Or if you're running late, again, throw it in your bag, put it in your water whenever you get to work, your destination, whatever it may be. Now, yes, again, you can do this every single day, but it's something that you have to remember. And if you're running behind, late for work, stuff like this is going to be put to the wayside. So let's set yourself up for success. Pre-portion out your supplements, whether it be powders, whatever. I do this for my intra-workout as well. So I put I put more glutamine, creatine, and my aminos in little containers. And then I can just toss it in my bag, put it in my shaker bottle once I'm done with my pre-workout, and get all my steps in. So, Max Effort Greens, the best ever greens that you will ever find. All right, another meal. These are my turkey sausage and kale muffins. I needed something that was like portable and I could easily just like grab and go when I'm at the gym in between my clients. Thankfully, I'm at home today, but made some turkey and kale sausage muffins made with whole wheat flour, apple chicken sausage, and kale. And then my sweet treat on the side, I got some dark chocolate covered pistachios for my fat source. And like I said, my little sweet treat. So there we go. And just so you know, this is what they look like on the inside. Nothing fancy, nothing pretty, but they're delicious. So freaking good. All right, another meal going down on my sugar skull plate. So we've got some 93% ground turkey, mixed vegetables, Japanese sweet potato, and then some tahini is going to go on that. This has been one of my favorite meals as of recent. Y'all, I feel like a queen eating 93% turkey. Going from 99 turkey to 93 is like, wow. So thank God for some higher fats. I am doing a higher fat diet right now, helping to, balance out my hormones, getting internal Kiki the best that it can be so I can perform better and ultimately make some really good gains and have a better prep next year. So 93% turkey, obviously that's my protein source, some good amount of fiber from the green beans, the carrots, and the peas, and I top that off with some feast mode Bloody Mary barbecue. And then, y'all, Japanese sweet potatoes. Oh, baby. Okay, this is so good. Japanese sweet potatoes with some tahini on it is, oh my God, like chef's freaking kiss. I love the Japanese sweet potatoes. Obviously, like, switching things out from, like, regular sweet potatoes. I don't know. It's delicious. I was at Trader Joe's, and I found them, and I don't know if I'm going to go back. It has, like, a nuttier flavor, not as sweet, and that pairs really well with the tahini. And Japanese sweet potatoes are, great source of antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. They're rich in vitamin A, high in vitamin C, high in fiber. They can help regulate your blood sugar because they have a low glycemic index. And it contains, antioxidants like the beta carotene, which can help reduce inflammation. So really just we're health right now, and I'm loving it. So meal going down. All right, we have another meal going down. We got some mixed veggies, some jasmine rice, and some Atlantic salmon topped with homemade tomato and honey jam that I made with some homegrown tomatoes and homegrown honey from one of my in-person clients, Jay. And that's delicious. So we got my good carbs. Love me some jasmine rice. We got some good fiber with the peas, carrots, and green beans. And then I am following a higher fat diet, so I get the good salmon. Now, if I'm in prep, I'll do like a pink salmon, which is, has similar macronutrients to chicken thigh or like a 96% beef, 4 grams of fat per 4 ounces. But we got some high fat in our macros, so we're doing the good stuff of Atlantic salmon. And then top that with feast mode vodka lemon pepper, the rice and veggies. So say hi. That's obviously Brutus's statue, and this is a lady that I found at Marshall's. She needs a name. She's like my spooky alter ego. Boom. What's going on, guys? Coach Kiki in my kitchen. I'm going to show you how I make my homemade, no sugar added crock pot apple butter. And I'm also going to show you how I track it into MyFitnessPal. So if you're like me and you like recipes and cooking and baking and you track your food, MyFitnessPal recipes, this is where it's at. So let's get into it. All right, so no sugar added crock pot apple butter. You can use whatever types of apples that you want. I use Honey Crisp. I used 2 big ol' boys. I'm going to save that one for something else. So, all you have to do, peel and chop. This doesn't have to be pretty because you're going to use an immersion blender. So, when I'm cooking and doing all of my recipes, I always have a little sticky pad or notepad so I can write things down. And that's how I put it into MyFitnessPal later. So, we're first going to weigh the apples so I know how much to put in to MyFitnessPal. Literally just throw these in there. Ta-da. This is a super easy recipe, and I make it every single fall, and clearly it's just myself and my house, so I gift it to my clients and people at the gym. All right, 522. I'm just going to write apple 522 grams so I know what to put into MyFitnessPal. All right, and these are the rest of the ingredients. Nutmeg, cinnamon, cloves, a little bit of vanilla, and I am using Lazy Acres raw honey. I'm just going to use about like a tablespoon of this just to give it a little extra honey, delicious flavor. This is actually from one of my in-person clients, Jay. Her and her husband own a beekeeping farm in Norwich, Ohio. So that's the only thing that you really need to track into MyFitnessPal next. Those other things are just, you don't need to do it. So I'm just going to add in about like 15 grams or so. All right, 16 grams honey. You could also use like maple syrup if you want to. But yeah, that's literally all you need to know for your MyFitnessPal. And then I'm going to use about like, I don't know, 1/4 of a teaspoon of each of those. Put it in there, and then we're going to put it in the crock pot. All right, everything's in the crock pot ready to go. I'm going to add in a couple tablespoons of water. And then we're going to cook that on low for like 10 hours. Your house is going to smell amazing. Be patient. It's worth it. I promise. All right, so our apple butter has been in the crock pot for, honestly, I don't know how long, just until it's soft. The apples are soft. And we're going to take an immersion blender, and we're just going to blend. If you don't have an immersion blender, you can obviously put it in a regular blender. Just be careful because this is steaming hot. You're just going to blend it until it's nice and smooth, and then we're going to put it into some jars and weigh so we know what the final weight of the cooked apple butter is for MyFitnessPal. All right, so we have our mason jar. We're going to turn on the KitchenAid scale, and then we're going to pour that apple butter in there to see how many ounces we come out with. So about 16 ounces of apple butter in the jar. So we're going to do 16 ounces, and that's about 32 tablespoons. So in your MyFitnessPal, you can either do 16 servings or 32, really just depending on how you do it or how you want to do it. And then I'm going to show you how I put this into MyFitnessPal next. And then you're just going to let this cool before you put the lid on and then put it in the refrigerator. All right, so we're going to add in the apple butter recipe into MyFitnessPal. Obviously, I'm using the desktop version. You can use it on your app as well, which is super easy, and that's what I do in most cases, but I'm using my phone to record this video. So we're using the desktop version. I love the recipe feature on MyFitnessPal. I use it for a lot of my protein recipes that I make for max effort. And, you know, if I'm going to make like a chili or casserole or something that has more ingredients, and it's super easy. Like you can add in, just like copy and paste a URL to any recipe, import that recipe, and it'll auto-populate the ingredients and the amounts. And then you just need to double check to make sure things are correct. And I'll do that in a separate video. Again, always just double verify everything with MyFitnessPal to make sure things are accurate. But since the apple butter recipe is just my own and it's super easy, we're going to add in the recipe manually, and we're going to name it apple butter. You can make fun names if you want, but whatever. So it was 16 ounces. So I'm going to do 16 servings, and that's going to be about 32 tablespoons. But if you weigh everything, it's just going to be like in ounces. So we're going to do the 522 grams of apple, and then 16 grams of honey. And then we're just going to match the ingredients. So 522 grams of apple, 72 carb, 16 grams of honey, 13 grams of carbs. I'm going to find a better thing just to be clear. And again, just double check, make sure everything's correct. I used Honeycrisp, so I just want things to be as accurate as fucking possible. So there we go, Honeycrisp apple. And then go down to grams, and it's the same. So pretty much the same, a little bit more carbs. So we're gonna go double check that that one is matched, and then that is 13 grams of carbs for 16 grams of honey. So then you just click save, and then when we go to the apple butter, it'll give you all of the nutrition facts. So this is 16 servings, so for 1 ounce, it is 6 grams of carbs, 1 fiber, and obviously 5 grams of sugar. Obviously, this is a very simple recipe, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is to add in recipes and figure out the nutrition facts. So then when I go and use the apple butter, I will just put it on the scale, zero it out, and if I want 1 ounce, which is 2 tablespoons of apple butter, it's going to be 6 grams of carbs. And then if you want to do like half of an ounce for 1 tablespoon, then it's only 3 carbs. And then you just log it. Easy, easy peasy.